Welcome to Tiny Tours. I'm Victoria Campos, a docent at the Meadows Museum, and today we'll be taking a look at the Knight of Santiago by Jusepe de Ribera, measuring 57.5 by 42 inches. As we study this portrait of the anonymous sitter, the carefully crafted image and objects in the composition provide us logical clues as to the social status and prominence of this gentleman's position in life. Dramatically draped across the knight's chest, over a vest detailed in gold, our attention is immediately drawn to the bright, elegant scarlet sash made of a sheer fabric that is cleverly shaded to give it a shiny, silk satin quality. The sash makes a political statement. It is an indicator that its wearer was a supporter of the 30 Years' War, which occurred from 1618 to 1648. This shell-shaped medallion marked with a red cross, visible just below the sash, signifies his membership in the prestigious Order of Santiago, founded in Spain about 1160. In the portrait, the sitter is proudly holding the distinguished symbols of his high-ranking military status. The baton in his right hand and the sword in his left identify him as Captain General in the Spanish Army. In spite of the formality of the portrait, what I find most interesting in this painting is how Ribera has chosen to retain the large ebony spectacles to capture the age progression of the sitter's face. Besides drawing attention to the knight's imposing image, the spectacles offer Ribera an opportunity to display his mastery of nature and light. The subtle interplay of shadow and reflection on the cheek and the slight magnification of the eyes by the thick lenses are rendered with a keen sense of observation, a characteristic of this master realist. By the inclusion of the spectacles, it inevitably reveals the sitter's increasingly poor eyesight. Other telltale signs of his advancing age are the receding hairline, the white hairs starting to show in the whiskers and the beard, the rotund torso, and finally, the wrinkles in his forehead. These appear almost carved out from the surface of the paint-coated canvas in Ribera's signature sculptural style of painting. Perhaps the knight could have forbidden the painter from adding grain hairs or wrinkles or those thick-rimmed brown glasses to the painting, but instead, the sitter of the portrait presents a stoic, even proud acceptance of his maturity. Virtually no documents exist that could shed some light on Ribera's childhood in Spain. It is known that he was born and baptized in the town of Játiva in the Valencia region in February 1591 and died in Naples, Italy in 1652. The oldest of the great painters of the Spanish Baroque, Jusepe de Ribera, Los Spañoletto, or the Spaniard, as he was known, almost does not qualify as a Spanish artist, given that he spent the majority of his life and his entire career in Italy, where he may have arrived as early as 1608 or 1609, living sporadically in Lombardy, Parma, then Rome, where in 1613 he is documented as a member of the Accademia di San Luca. The works of these years reveal Ribera's intimate study of Caravaggio, Raphael, and Guido Reni, artists whose techniques and styles he greatly admired. Ribera arrived in the Spanish-ruled Kingdom of Naples in 1616, where he stayed the rest of his life. His residency there provided the artist strong connections with his homeland and enabled him to exert an enormous influence on Baroque art, both in Spain as well as in the rest of Europe. Brimming with intellectual and artistic activity, Naples was home to the century's greatest artists, philosophers, writers, and musicians. By living and working there, Ribera was not only lucky, but he was guaranteed to be surrounded by cutting-edge art and wealthy patrons. In the mid-1640s, after an accomplished and successful career, the acclaimed artist fell seriously ill and his painting production came to a standstill. Just after Ribera finally recovered his health, the popular uprising against Spanish rule in July 1647 forced him and his family to take refuge in the Spanish Palazzo Reale. After the rebellion, the artist had a relapse of his illness, and compounded by his inability to work, the family began to experience real financial difficulties. By July 1652, they were forced to move into a smaller home where Ribera died shortly thereafter. Thank you for listening. Plan to join us for more of the Meadows Museum's tiny tours.